to welcome Belinda Seda, Justin Edwards, and Alex Martin, who will be talking to us today about Microsoft technological and educational partnerships. And just to introduce the individual speakers. Justin Edwards is the Director of Learning Programs for Minecraft, the Education Edition, leading on education content, research, and learning strategies. He was formerly Chief Executive for the Council for Curriculum, Examinations and Assessment, one of the UK's main curriculum and awarding bodies, and prior to that, had a long career in vocational education and skills development. He's an experienced curriculum, assessment and policy advisor, an advocate for project-based learning, and has specific experience in skills education in divided societies, high-stakes assessment, and digital skills development. Welcome, Justin. Great to have you with us.
Hi, thanks, Ed.
Moving on to Alex. Alex Martin is Senior Product Owner at Cambridge Assessment English, where he's responsible for developing innovative learning and assessment solutions for adults and children. Alex has a background in creating engaging, high-quality English language courses and assessments, and his particular interest lies in games for learning. Welcome, Alex.
Thanks, Eric.
And finally, Belinda is the Head of Digital Partnerships at Cambridge Assessment English, where she leads on new product development with partners to drive innovation in language learning and assessment. She started her career as a teacher, teacher trainer, and materials developer in Spain, Germany, and the UK, before moving into language assessment over 10 years ago. And Belinda is interested in language and identity and trends in language education. Welcome, Belinda. And with that, over to the three of you. Great to have you with us. Over to you.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you very much for your introduction. Good morning, good evening. Welcome everyone to our session. I'm Belinda and I'm Head of Digital Partnerships. And with me today, as Eric just introduced, we have Justin. Do you want to introduce yourself briefly?
Hi, yep, Justin Edwards here from Microsoft and Minecraft. I'm delighted to be here, and I'm going to talk to you later about the why of Minecraft.
Thank you. And Alex?
Sorry,
Alex,
sorry. Yeah. Hi, I'm Alex, Senior Product Owner. Yes, I've been leading the team who've actually been developing English Adventures with Cambridge over the last few months.
Thank you. So we're really excited that you could join us wherever in the world you are. Today we're going to tell you about a new English language learning pilot adventure built in Minecraft. And as you've seen, there are three of us today, so please do use the chat function as we talk, and we will attempt to answer the questions as we go. And we also hope to leave some time for questions at the end of the session. And to get us started, we thought we'd have a short video to give us a real flavour of what this is. So let's start with the video. Please do sit back and relax. And yes, it would be great if you could use the chat function while you watch the video. Thank you. Could you put it up a little bit, Alex? I want the volume.
Hi, I'm Maya and
I'm Alex.
And we both work at Cambridge Assessment English, and at the moment we're working on an English language learning game for children based entirely in Minecraft.
Minecraft is a hugely popular game. It's what's known as a sandbox game where learners are presented with a wide open world to explore with a lot of variety in different environments. And we're looking to harness some of those natural activities that they do in the game for language learning. Students of all ages show increased engagement, improved retention through an active learning environment, better learning outcomes, higher participation and achievement rates. I'd add that unlike most games, there's something intrinsically educational about Minecraft. Simply surviving your first night in the base game requires creativity, organization and critical thinking.
You are surrounded by a context-rich environment. So if you talk to somebody within the game, they will not ask you a grammar question. They'll ask you a question which relates to the context of the game specifically. And that marries up the benefit of learning and the game very, very nicely. We're building the game with a very specific audience in mind, of course. It's young children who at that age usually have started learning English very recently. And at Cambridge English, we have very specific exams that cater to those children. And these exams, just like our game, cover a very limited range of vocabulary that our researchers have identified as appropriate at that level and age. A highlight from working on this project for me is probably seeing the development of characters. The concept of a troll was first brought up as an idea, and that prompted the rest of the team to weigh in on the features that the troll might have. Somebody said, ooh, I know, he'll be really, really large. And somebody said, ooh, I know, he will have 2 teeth poking out of his lower jaw. So that's how the concept of Charlie got born. He's perfect, he's green, he's huge, he has 2 teeth poking out. And that's when we call him Charlie, because you look at him and there's no other name you could call him.
It was great to see some of our underlying design principles in action and how they work in the real world. So kids love the characters. They're going to love Charlie. You know, it's really tapping into their episodic memory. And you can see that because they're often gleefully reusing the words they've just learned in the game in the feedback they've given us. So it was really lovely to see such an immediate and enthusiastic learning response. We're really proud to be working on this project. At Cambridge, we believe that games have the potential to make learning fun.
And of course, we believe that learning is already fun.
But if there was ever any doubt, you should definitely play our game.
So in that video, Maya and Alex touched on what this is and why we've produced this. And what we'd like to do now is in the next 15 to 20 minutes, go into a little bit more detail on this. And we'll also end by sharing some of the feedback that we're receiving from learners and teachers already. So what exactly is English Adventures with Cambridge? So it's an immersive narrative-driven English language free pilot available to schools and learners around the world now. Learners playing English Adventures explore different occasions and interact with and solve problems for interesting characters, some of whom you've already been introduced to in the video. And by design, language learning takes place while the children are playing the game. The game can stand alone and be an intuitive and engaging experience, learning experience in its own right, but we've also provided support materials for teachers which are linked to the gameplay, and they practice different skills and extend the learning outside of the game. The target age group for the pilot is 8 to 11-year-olds, although it's been designed to be suitable for older learners too. And almost all of the language has been mapped to A1 level on the CFR, but the world is a language-rich environment, so it's suitable for higher language levels too. We move on to the next slide. So as it's mapped to A1, it aligns with the syllabus of our young learners exams, specifically A1 movers, and it provides supplementary preparation by reinforcing the language and making use of some of the similar task types, although the game doesn't contain exact replicas. The content covers all 4 skills. The in-game content mostly focuses on listening and reading, as well as spelling and vocabulary building. And the lesson plans bring in speaking and writing and expand on the in-game content. In total, the pilot contains around 5 hours of material, 2 hours of gameplay and 3 hours of lesson plans. And in its full form, it would be possible for the product to cover much more, probably all of the younger learner syllabus. And we could make higher level versions too, so for A2 and above, if there is a demand from teachers and learners for that. So I'd like to say a little bit more about the teacher material, because we've been receiving some great feedback on this. So we've created a full visual walkthrough, and this takes teachers step by step through each moment of the game. We've also created 4 flexible lesson plans. There's 1 lesson plan to accompany each of the 3 in-game lessons, and there's also a 4th recap lesson. And instructions are provided for teachers and parents about how to use the game in different environments. For example, an online teaching environment, or face-to-face, or even blended. There's a full word list, a list of grammar structures, and a range of worksheets too for teachers. So the pilot and the game is a small slice of what the full product could be in future, and the feedback we're receiving and the feedback we hope to get from learners and teachers will really help to determine future directions for us. What we've done here with Minecraft is very different, and there isn't anything else quite like this for language learners and teachers. So Justin is going to talk a bit about why we did this. So why Minecraft?
Thanks, Belinda, and great to have so many people on the call from all around the world. I thought I'd start with a question. Have any of you, maybe you can raise your hand, press the button at the bottom of your Zoom screen, raise your hand if you've played Minecraft, or you know somebody who's been playing Minecraft, or maybe you've got young people at home. So we've got some hands going up. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. So about a third of people have been involved in Minecraft or been playing it in some way. Just to give you a sense of the size of the game, Minecraft is now the biggest game in history. It kind of goes back and forth between Minecraft and Tetris, with about 100 million active players every year. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the fact that it's serious learning, game-based learning. There's an increasing amount of evidence that's showing it's serious learning. So Minecraft Education Edition is a specific part of Minecraft. There's the main game that everybody plays, and then there's a separate game which is called Education Edition, and it's purely designed for educational settings, and it's designed with curriculum content that immerses learners inside the learning of the subject matter and allows them to play through virtual experiences, block building experiences, problem solving experiences, and in the case of what we're listening today, language learning experiences as well. It's suitable for preschool right the way through to higher education. We're seeing it used in primary settings. We're seeing it used in university settings for teaching of topics in those settings. And it's available on the vast majority of devices. So Windows 10, Mac OS, iPad, and Chromebook are all being used to play Minecraft Education Edition. So as I said, the main game, 100 million users, but the Education Edition is just as popular. 35 million teachers and students worldwide are currently using the game. There are 500 free lessons on the website. And we have a massive growing community around the product as well. So we have 700 mentors. These are practicing teachers or people who are already working in states or districts or with inside countries, supporting other teachers take up Minecraft Education Edition. And they talk teacher to teacher and language to language so that they can support best embedding with inside those schools. We have a reach of 115 countries. We're in everywhere in Europe, America, North America, South America, China, Australasia. We're finding popularity with what we're doing with this right around the globe. And we have some very specific content in there with 100 hours of computer science curriculum. And we have huge uses of our tutorials. We had 135 million individual downloads of the Our Codes tutorials completed as well with inside that. So it's getting huge usage at the moment. But for us, and talking today, we're really excited about partnering with Cambridge around this particular aspect. And it's really coming back to game-based learning is that serious learning. There's a growing amount of evidence, particularly over the last decade, which is starting to show that game-based learning really brings out future-ready skills, 21st century skills in terms of problem solving, in terms of working with others, in terms of increasing communication and engagement in the subject matter. And consistently, the studies in game-based learning are showing that games are actually having a positive impact on student motivation and student engagement in the learning content. And Minecraft Education Edition and the data that we're starting to see is part of that mix, certainly driving positive results in terms of engagement. And it's not just the skills that people are developing with inside game-based learning. We're also starting to see that attitudes are changing towards learning specifically. So when children learn in the classroom and then they go and take forward a learning activity in game-based learning, they're also developing a love for learning and an increased love for learning. And that's yielding a better impact on learning outcomes and better impact on attainment. And the two slides I've shown you there are from NFER Future Lab, which is a UK independent research institute, which has been doing the studies really around the meta-analysis that's bringing together the evidence that's showing that this is having the impact. And this evidence is really important because I know those of you who are thinking of taking this up will face questions. You know, is game-based learning play or is it serious learning? And it is, from this evidence, serious learning. And it doesn't just affect computing education or STEM education where we're seeing strength. This piece of research here shows that actually game-based learning can have a significant positive impact on language and literacy learning. So it comes as no surprise when you see the partnership between Cambridge and Minecraft Education Edition, most popular game in the world, trying to bring about change with inside learning practice and build on language and literacy learning. This doesn't just affect native speakers, it's having similar impact on non-native speakers as well. So it fits perfectly with this partnership. So for us, that's really exciting. I'm going to hand back to Belinda, who will talk about really the partnership and how that coalition and collaboration is working. So Belinda.
Thank you, Justin. And before we show you a few more aspects of the learning in the game and that highlights some of what Justin's been saying, I want to say a bit more about the collaboration between Cambridge and Minecraft Education Edition, which has been so important to the success of English Adventures so far. So you're at this event, you're at this conference because you trust the quality of what Cambridge does, but it's so important as the University of Cambridge that we continue to remain at the cutting edge of learning and language assessment and partnering to push the imagination of what we can do to help our learners stay engaged and communicate effectively is key. And this collaboration between the two organisations has enabled us to make Minecraft an even better fit for learning by enabling certain features that you wouldn't normally see when playing Minecraft. So let's move on to the next slide and look at some of the learning in action. In creating this, we knew that we absolutely couldn't lose the benefits that Justin has just outlined, and the team were driven by this. We needed to ensure that the gameplay and the learning were seamlessly integrated so that it stayed as true as possible to what it feels like to play Minecraft. The whole experience couldn't just be an English lesson that happened to take place in a Minecraft environment. And our principles in designing the game were also in line with the principles that underpin the Cambridge approach to language learning, which are here on the left. So let's use some of these principles in the next few slides with some examples. If we look at context, we know context is crucial for language learning. Here you can see a couple of examples of spelling and vocabulary puzzles embedded in a context. There's a locked gate, and you have to spell the word open on the combination lock. There's a bridge, and you have to spell bridge by walking across the right letters. If we move on to the next slide, authenticity is also really important. Throughout the game, the player always has a mission and a specific task they are trying to achieve. So the conversations they have are always purposeful. Here you can see examples of some classic multiple choice questions like you might find in an exam, embedded in a game-based context. So here, Lilac the librarian wants a hot drink. She sends you to a machine where there are 6 drinks to choose from, but only one of them is hot. Finding the right answer involves the same cognitive processes as it would in an exam. And we need to motivate and inspire. There's an overarching story in English Adventures, which is engaging and includes a cliffhanger ending. And stories and personal experiences, as we all know, are such a powerful way for learners to understand and retain what they've just learned. And then finally, last but not least, mistakes. In the game, the students have the freedom to fail and try again. You can bring Lilac the hot drink, but she won't be satisfied until she gets her coffee. And the freedom to fail aligns with the principles that errors are learning opportunities, and getting it wrong and trying again builds resilience and perseverance, which is a feature of many video games. So I've said a little bit about the learning. Let's move on to look at where we can find this. Where can you find English Adventures, and what are learners and teachers saying so far?
Yeah, so we haven't got that long to show you all of the content we've produced, unfortunately. Got some nice snapshots there, but the best way to experience it is to try it yourself or with your learners. So where can you access it? The best place to start is definitely to go to our official landing page, at cambridgeenglish.org/English Adventures. I'll post that and a few other links in the chat right now. If you've already got a Minecraft Education Edition installed on your machine, you can actually just go to our landing page and click this Play Now button, and it will launch straight into the adventure for you. Alternatively, you can find English Adventures in the Minecraft Education Edition library, so in the game and on their website. It's easy to find in their new and featured section, which is a button on the main menu of the game. If you don't yet have a Minecraft, if you don't have it installed and you need to sign up for an account, we have a very short form lower down on that page, which will allow you to sign up very quickly, just with your normal email address, and get access very quickly. You should also check out, on the right here is the Minecraft Education Edition website. That's a blog article that was announced on launch day on May 19th. But on the second link I've put in the chat, you can get access to all of the support materials that Belinda was talking through earlier, as well as access to the game as well. So English Adventures is designed to approach learning from a different angle, as you will have seen, and to make the most of what Minecraft has to offer in terms of engagement and immersion. But the pilot is also a huge learning opportunity for us as an organization. Obviously, we know what great teaching and learning look like, but we can't anticipate all the ways in which a product like this is going to actually be used out there in the wild, in the classroom. So your feedback is going to be crucial as we shape the future of the product and future iterations. So what have we learned so far since that May 19th launched? So yeah, we're not very far in really, about halfway through what we're calling a 12-week pilot, and we're getting some really interesting data already. In terms of performance, we've reached a total of 123,000 unique players and about 242,000 game launches. The game currently sits as the second most popular map on Minecraft Education Edition right now. So for our first map, I think that's pretty good going. In terms of more subjective feedback, we do have a survey at the end of the experience for learners, teachers, and parents to complete. And so far, we're getting an average, what we're calling an average enjoyment rating of 4.5 stars out of 5. So that's really great feedback so far. That's just a small slice of what we're getting. But in making the game super easy to access for learners, teachers, and parents, we're able to get direct feedback from all over the world from this survey. But we want to dig deeper. We're also planning and putting on a series of face-to-face pilots with schools around the world in order to sort of dig into how it's being used in the real world. So right here, these have already begun. So you can see some photos. This is from last week, one of our first pilots. You can see some pictures. These are some students in Tokyo taking part in the class last week. And we've got 9 more planned across Japan. And we've got more planned for the rest of the world too. In this case, the teachers, just to give an idea of how it's being put on in this instance, the teachers chose to operate the lesson by having a pre-gameplay discussion, talking about what they're going to experience. And then they supported the children by allowing them to play through it in pairs for a portion of the lesson. And at the end came back for a review session to recap what they had learned. We're really keen, so this is just the beginning, we're really keen to hear from any of you that might be interested in trying it with your students and in your centres. These pilots will help us explore the strengths of language learning in this format, how it can be integrated into various programs. So please message us in the chat if you'd like to sign up. Alternatively, I will put Belinda's email address in the chat. We've got it on a slide as well at the end. Please contact us directly if you're interested. Or just go to the website and download it and try it yourself. Just conscious of time. So this is just a little bit of subjective feedback we've got from the survey. So as you can see at the top there, we've got some really great feedback from learners. This is just a tiny slice of that feedback. But yeah, English Adventures was absolutely amazing. The story was fun, kept me hooked and wanting to play more. We're getting that a lot from learners. We're really seeing how they're engaging with the characters that are in the game. Mentioning them by name. We've even had some requests for us to make physical toy versions of some of the characters because they really bonded with them. And again, with teachers as well, really great feedback, really great suggestions, and including people requesting different levels, because currently this is A1 level, so we could look at doing it at other levels in the future. There's clearly a demand for that. So it's a really great way of getting feedback at this stage. But going forward, we want to be really confident in the approach we've taken and to understand how this works in a variety of teaching contexts. And the best way to do that is for you guys to get involved as well. So I've shared the links in the chat, but here's a reminder of them, and you can scan the QR code if that's easier for you. And please do get in touch and give us feedback directly.
Thank you so much.
I think that's it.
Thank you very much to the three of you. Really, really interesting and fantastic to see the engagement you're already getting from a sizable number of people out there. Couple of questions, and we've only got a couple of minutes. So I can well imagine that there will be teachers out there who appreciate the value of it as a learning experience for their learners, but who themselves are trepidatious about it. They've never touched Minecraft themselves. They wouldn't know where to go to get it installed. How much proficiency would you say a teacher needs with this, regardless of their appreciation of it? How proficient do they need to be with all this themselves?
Justin, do you want to answer that?
Yeah. So thanks, Eric. What we're finding is that a little bit of gameplay helps, and teachers actually can access from the Minecraft Education website and the materials that Alex posted there, some introductory videos and some introductory content. But you actually don't need to be a full game player. And what we find is that the learners dive into this, they love it so much, and they actually start helping the teachers understand the game. And there's a reward in value when the pupils feel like masters of the product, but they're learning English and the teacher, and it brings together. Only yesterday, I was working with a group of over 100 learners in Wales doing something different. And this is exactly the story. The teachers were learning about Minecraft from the learners, but the learners were learning about problem solving and creativity from the teachers. So what I would say is, download the app, maybe start with the videos that are available through the Minecraft website, and within an hour, you'll be up and running and be able to use this content directly with the classroom.
Excellent. Thank you.
I would just add one other thing. Actually, Minecraft Education Edition includes like really great tutorial worlds in the game. So if you go to the list of worlds you can download, there's some really great tutorials just how to control the game and do all the basics. You can work that through with your class, or you could try it yourself beforehand and familiarize yourself with it.
Super. Thank you. Got a super comment there in the chat window from Chiho. That is my class. Today I sent my feedback to Microsoft and Cambridge University Press in Japan. So excellent.
Awesome. Look forward to seeing that.
Fantastic.
That's great. Thank you, Chiho.
We've got a couple sort of technical questions, if you like. A question from Julia. Do you need to be connected to the internet while playing?
No. There are some things you can do with Minecraft. You can jump in together and use the internet or a network to play at the same time. English Adventures, the pilot at this stage, was not developed it's not really designed to be multiplayer. So in this instance, you definitely do not need to be connected to the internet, other than when you're downloading the world initially and the game.
Yeah, you just needed to download the game and put it onto your machine, and then once it's on the machine, you can play offline.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. And a very real question from Valeria, basically about costs. Yeah, what about the costs around all of this?
It's a free pilot.
It's a free pilot. It says, what about other costs? I guess in the future, the plans are to make this a commercially available product. But for now, the pilot's completely free. The support materials are free. We just want to get it in front of as many people as possible, get all their feedback, and inform the future of the product.
Great, I'm sure that's good news. And finally, last thing we've got time for, it's really an offer for help. My colleagues and I have developed spelling packs for young learners. Is it possible to communicate with your team to understand if the packs might be useful for English Adventures?
Yeah, as Belinda mentioned, it's very closely aligned to the YLE curriculum, so they're likely to be fairly relevant, but please do, you've got Belinda's email address there. Please do pop it through to Belinda. It'll probably come to me and I'll discuss it with the team and get back to you.
Excellent. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much to the three of you. It was really interesting and exciting to see. And thank you to everyone attending. Thank you for your questions and comments. Great to have you with us. And yeah, you'll be receiving a link to the recording if you want to watch it back. And then you'll also have all the URLs again for all the support on the Cambridge website that you might need. Thank you again to the three of you, and have a great rest of your day to everyone.
Have a great day,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.